Steve, you've said that business development is the second most important thing a lawyer can do. And what's really interesting to me is anytime I talk to law students, I always talk to them about the number one thing is bringing clients because nothing else matters because you can't do anything else unless you have clients. So I found this one really interesting, and I so that's why I wanted to start with this. What
Yeah.
do you think the first what is the first what's the most important thing to you, and why is it that you rank them in that order?
I think I was giving lawyers a little bit of a break by not saying business development was number one because because so many of them don't do it. I was what I typically say is that you need to be a great lawyer. Like you can bring in business and then just destroy your reputation within months or weeks if you're not able to do the work that you're bringing in. So I get that when you're a new lawyer and you don't know anything other than what you learn in law school, that you've got to take it slow. But hopefully you have mentors. Hopefully you have you take your time with a particular case or matter and work through it and know that it's going to come out well. But ultimately, be a great lawyer, number one, and then number two is you got to develop your own clients. Otherwise, there's nothing to be great about.
Yeah, it's not that I wouldn't even say I've got a disagreement with it. I think it's just kind of an interesting thing as our perspectives, as like the approaches we've taken on it. I because I can't disagree with the fact that you've got to be a great lawyer. That is something that I've been focusing a little bit more on talking about with people is like the business side is extremely important, but actually, like you can't go to you name the business. You can't go to a mechanic. My dad's a mechanic, so I'll use that one, right? If my dad does a terrible job, right, people are going to stop going to him. That's just part of it. Same thing. And it's not just that with mechanics, especially, you've got to do a great job and you've got to take care of them and they've got to know that you care. Otherwise, they're just going to go to one of the other dozens of mechanics that are in your town. Same thing with lawyers. Like you have to do not just a good job, like you have to leave them feeling like that you did a great job. And so part of that is explaining to them, hey, here are the things we're doing. So I guess what are some ways that you think attorneys can demonstrate value?
Well, here's an interesting twist. And one of the reasons I say you need to be a great lawyer because lawyers are notorious for doing pitches and going on pitch meetings. And the terminology right there is insinuating, selling, convincing, free consulting. Like it's all there on the table. And we're building value in all that through what we say. And I'm completely opposed to that. I go the other direction. My program is, in my first book, is sales free selling. What does that mean? It means that we're going to walk a buyer through a buying decision to ensure that it's a fit and it's a win-win and everybody's coming out happy at the end of it. And that doesn't happen when you're just talking through a meeting and solving people's problems very early. I went to a doctor recently. I had some cloggage in my nose. The guy didn't just say, "Here, you got cloggage in your nose. Here, take this." He spent a good 10 minutes asking me questions. Do I have this? Do I have that? And all that diagnosis was critical to his being able to prescribe the right. And by the way, I've been on this medicine for like 4 days and I feel 1,000 times better. So I think what we need to do is we need to help lawyers figure out that the traditional model of selling and the traditional model of what they're being told or shown or what they believe needs to be done is to sell. So where does that relate to what your question was? Is we can demonstrate and drive up belief and trust and all the things that help us work with people better through the great questions we ask, the bedside manner and the trust that's developed versus the sizzle of the steak and the pitch and the convincing and the talking.